Hello everyone. In this video we'll be talking about how to recognize that you're going through a DNA activation. How can you recognize in your everyday life, in your things that you're doing, that a DNA activation is happening in your energetic level? So DNA activation, like I said before, it happens from the constant stimulus of the state of awareness, that state of being that has a certain frequency that causes changes in your entire being, physical and not physical. So once we have stimulated enough the state of awareness, we experience DNA activation. But how can we really see it, and how is that manifested in what we're doing every day? So there will be some first symptoms or feelings or things that will come to our attention. The first thing is that because we have connected these strands, there will be some kind of expansion of our immediate reality. So everything that we see now as what I do, where I live, where I work, everything is I-centered. Everything that we see now is centered in satisfying the needs of the senses. So everything we do, we work to make money, to be able to buy things, to eat, and to satisfy our physiological needs and those needs of the senses. So basically all the money that we make goes into satisfying the senses. I need to buy clothes, I need to buy a car, I need to buy things that taste good, and all these things that we think that is living, that living our life is about satisfying the senses. That's the first thing that usually comes to our attention, or is the first thing that we think in the lower levels of consciousness. But once we have connected the DNA, then this reality starts expanding. It's no longer about I or how I can satisfy my needs. Then it starts expanding towards how can I be useful to the world? Am I alone here, or is there more than just me? So this expansion starts demanding changes in your immediate surroundings and the things that you do. You're gonna feel like it's time for you to change what you're doing. If you're working in something that is just about making money to fulfill those immediate needs, you're gonna feel like maybe it's time for me to do something in where I am more involved, in where I can express myself, in where I can be of use, and where I can be of service to the world, to everything. First, you may have an experience of you really want to help your immediate circle, like people in your community or your family, and then from there it will expand and expand to larger and larger groups. And this is how that is perceived as far as our level of consciousness, or as far as our reality or perception of reality. But also that need for change will demand for you to actually perform an action. So if you do not get to perform an action, you only are stimulating the state of awareness, but you're not really completing a DNA activation. So if you feel that your reality has expanded, it has changed, now you're seeing things wider, and you need to make certain changes, and you don't do anything, then that's just a stimulation and it stays there and is blocked. But if you actually perform the action, so you feel like, well, now I want to be more involved in certain thing, art or philanthropy or anything that involves other people, so then, and you take the action, the next step, whatever it is, either it is collecting more information or going to interview for a job that is related to that, or investing a little bit in something related to that, depending on what your possibilities are, you take the next action. So that is a DNA activation. You have connected something, something started going, so now that strand will start getting that rolling. For each strand that you connect, you will feel like an urge, something that you need to do now, an immediate need to fulfill the activation of that strand of DNA that was activated. So once you connect to your 12 strands of DNA, you will have all these different messages, or you have this urge of doing things. So basically you will start being guided or directed towards something. Usually that connection is very homogeneous and it takes you in a very defined direction. It's not that you're going to go in 12 different ways and you're going to be completely overwhelmed. It usually has a very, very homogeneous program in which you will receive the information of the first things to do, the first steps. And those are things that I have mentioned before that I call programs, main program and secondary programs. So first you might feel the need to activate those secondary programs, which are the ones that help you create or help you gather the information, develop yourself in a way that you have all the tools that you need in order for you to go to perform that bigger program, the main program that actually develops the information and that strand that you connected. So in each one of those strands there is information, and there is also healing, energy. There are a lot of things that come in those strands. So it is very important that you pay attention to all your needs and urges, that you feel like it's time for a change, it's time for you to do something. Maybe it is time. Maybe it's important for you to pay attention and actually try to continue that action and complete an action after that. But also, that's why I have mentioned before that it's very important that we suppress or eliminate, if possible completely, the impulses of the brain, because that will confuse us. That will confuse us in the way that the brain sends all kinds of impulses based on things that we eat, and energies that we manage, and thoughts or emotions that we hold, and that is going to kind of guide us in another direction. So we don't want that. I have shared also several different ways of how to keep the brain impulses in control. Most importantly, through food, diet, what can we eat, what should we not eat in order to keep the brain impulses under control. We have ruled every food that is addictive, like sugar, coffee, meat, dairy, gluten, chocolate, things that alterate your nervous system, things that change you, things that don't let you be yourself. All those need to be eliminated, because that's why you feel like when you eat sugar, or when you have a coffee, or when you eat chocolate, or when you eat meat, you're not really yourself. Something else is taking over and influencing that way in which you act. And that's why we need to make sure that we keep those under control, or we remove them completely from our diet. And then we can be more accessible to hear, to listen, to perceive the messages that come from our other centers, especially the heart center. The heart center is the one that commands action when we're working with DNA impulses. So if we are free from brain impulses, then we can really hear these messages without any interference. Because what if you're getting a message of I should do this or I should change this, but you're eating a ton of sugar, meat, dairy, and all this, and you're drinking alcohol, then you're going to get a message that could be a little bit changed in a way that it might not be a completely clear message. So before making a life-changing decision, I would say, refrain from eating these things, clear the body, fast, detox yourself, and then you can try to listen again to the messages that you're receiving. But it is always important to keep the momentum. So if you're getting this urge, these messages, this need to act, it's important to see what is the next thing that I can do to take me in that direction, so you can actually complete and move forward with that DNA activation. That keeps the ball rolling, let's say, in some way, and starts a whole program, and starts developing a whole program, and then other things start to unfold thanks to that action that you took first. Okay, very good. I hope this helped to clarify a little bit the DNA activation, how it is represented in your everyday life. And we will talk about this a little bit more, because this is a very important topic and I really want you to have it clear. If you have any questions, you can always email me at info@healersofthelight.com, and you can watch more videos like this at healersofthelight.com/videos. Thank you.